So if you happen to catch my last video, you'll know that we are working on aquarium nails. These beautiful, incredible aquarium nails. Last video, we managed to get this one finished, but I have still got 4 more nails that need to be filled, finished, and designed. So stick around, because that's what we're getting to. Let's finish this set off. So the reason I've got these 2 nails out is these 2 are both going to have jellyfish in them. So we made our jellyfishes out of our molds. One thing is that they are a little bit too thick in this top headpiece. So we are going to break them down a bit just by clipping off some of the back. Now, I need to decide which ones I'm going to be using. Let's see. I made quite a few different ones because I wasn't quite sure which ones would look the best and how much color we needed in them to be able to see the background of everything. I was worried if they were too dark, they would take away from stuff, but if they were too light, then I'm not sure if they're going to show up all that well. So the first thing we need to do for whichever charms we're using is cut back some of the bulk in the back of the head piece here for the jellyfish. So you can see how in the mold this gets pretty thick just because of the style of the design, but the tentacles are super thin, so I need to cut back some of that bulk in the headpiece. Just going to go in with my clippers and clear some of it away. I knew that these would be a bit too wide to work right off the bat, but there wasn't really a way for me to make the head thinner in the mold. So I knew I'd have to play with them a little bit once they were done. That's okay though. We're just shaving a wee bit off the back here, thinning it down a bit, trimming off any excess base coat or top coat that ended up on there. If you're interested in these little jellyfish and how I did them, there's a video up on my channel for those too. So this one is a bit bigger. This is a number 5 and this is a number 6. Okay, so it looks like I can get this style into the 6. Now if you have really small nails, these are not necessarily going to fit for you because anything smaller than a 6, and that's not going to be getting in there. And this may fit in my 5, I'm not sure. That little frill on the top of the jellyfish there is impeding it. Doesn't really matter what the back ends up looking like. These are too thick to flip around inside the nail, so they will only show the front piece, which is perfect. With a little extra work, I did manage to get 1 of each kind in there. Now that I know where they're going to fit, I need them out of the tanks. Hopefully I can get them out of the tanks. Okay, so I got the purple one out, but the blue is just not happening, so we'll leave them be. And what we're going to do is just go in, make sure our tank is clear with some alcohol, and we're going to do our test fill to make sure that we don't have oil leaking through the base. So I'm putting a little bit of baby oil in the bottom here. See what happens. I'll leave that for a minute. See if we spring any leaks. This one here, we'll just clean around our jellyfish because he's decided this is his home and he's not going anywhere. He's not giving it up. It's okay. He can just stay right there. And I am going to kind of work on these 2 together in tandem because they're essentially the same design. And I just want to see how things go as I work on them. So I'm going to leave those for a minute or so and just make sure all's good in the bottom of the tanks. And just as I'd hoped, our tanks are just fine. We've got no leaks happening. So here comes the fun part. We are going to fill these tanks. So I've got a whole assortment of goodies here. We've got some pointed back glass crystals, some glass chunks, iridescent flakes, some pearls, glitters, of course. We've got an assortment of glass beads, some opal chips, more caviar beads, and that should do it. So I'd started with my little mix of glitters from my last nail and some little bits left over, and we're just going to start filling these tanks. Put my other jellyfish in. There we go. A little more oil. Oh wow, it has such a cool see-through effect, just like a jellyfish. Ah, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, this one too. That is really neat. Oh my gosh, guys. Super excited. Okay. Now, my other one I had put some like gold charm pieces into, beach ones, but I'm not going to do that with these guys. I don't think, just because I don't want to distract from the jellyfish too much. So I'm going to put some of these little goodies in there because those will be fun, but hopefully they won't be too distracting from the main piece there, the jellyfish. And this part is very slow and tedious, guys. filling these little bits because you don't want to overdo it. But we all know how tricky it is picking up glass beads and little bits of glitters, and it never fails when you only want tiny bits of them. It just makes it harder. And I have to try my best not to overdo it because I think last time I overdid it just a little bit. I overdid it. Or I don't know, maybe some of you think it was more than a little bit. I'm not sure. I feel like I overdid it a little bit. I don't know if this will break, but I'm going to try. Perfect. It does break. Now in my other one, I felt like maybe I had a few too many glass beads and possibly a few too many iridescent flakes. So I'm going to try and avoid that this time and just go a little easier on them. I do like the ones that are like kind of crumpled up because they do something neat when they're in there. They move around, they give it more depth. And you'll see that I'm like mixing my colors. So the one that has the pink purple jellyfish, I'm trying to go with more blues. And then the one that has the blue jellyfish, I'm trying to go with more pink purples to try and kind of highlight those different colors. I'm glad I'm doing these two at a time because it really takes some of the pain in the butt out of it. All right, so pinky. I don't know, guys. I'm so scared to overfill them and ruin the effect of the jellyfish. But I have such a craving to keep stuffing shit in there. Like, you can't not even imagine how bad I want to keep stuffing stuff in. So, I don't know. Okay, I have to pause and look at this for a few minutes and decide, make a decision if I keep going with a couple items or if that's going to like just ruin it if I do. It's so hard to tell since you can't like flip it upside down and start shaking it. I mean, you can. I tried that, but it was kind of like messy and a bit of a pain. I might try it again just to see because I can't make decisions. Decisions are so hard. Okay, I can't decide. So I have filled the oil all the way. I'm taking a blue towel, fold it up. I'm going to cover it and I'm going to see what happens. That didn't really tell me much. I wish one of you could tell me right now. Do I keep going? Do I keep putting stuff in there? What would you be doing at this point? Less is more. More is more. You can never have too much goodies. I don't know. Well, I know you can have too much goodies with these because it will not move very well if you get it too full. Okay, I've decided on a few more pearls, if I can catch them, and just a few more glitter pieces. All right, I feel pretty good about where that is. Apparently, so do my dogs. So we're going to stop. Telling me to stop. Let's stop. Let's stop and not overdo it. Okay. Hide the goodies. Hide the goodies so I stop. All right, so they are filled with enough goodies from what I can tell. So our next step is going to be to finish filling them with oil right to the top. Once you get it to the top there, you want to make sure that anything floating makes its way down so it doesn't get stuck in your cap. Those glitters to sink. So we go full up as high as we safely can. And then we want to make sure that we're removing any oil that's up here because that is going to severely impact how well your top coat or your cap sticks. And on the last nail that I did, I actually used a little piece of Aurora film that I had cut to sit in top. But if you watch that, you'll know that it kind of fell into the top and you can see it in the top of the nail there. And it's quite distracting. I mean, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but it does kind of hinder the top there a bit. You can see that. So instead of trying that way again, I've got two other ideas to go with. One is I'm using this really firm, like molding gel. This stuff is solid, right? And you can work it like into a ball and play with it and do whatever. Almost like a modeling gel. And what I've done here is I've taken an empty tip, like a fresh tip, and I've kind of gotten an idea of the shape and the size, and hopefully I got it kind of right. And I formed this little cap that I'm going to hope I can pop over it and that it's going to seal nice. Now, technically, yes, this does look like it'll work. I'm just not sure that I like the look of it. Not sure how I feel about this, so I'm going to sit with that for a minute, not curing it. Just going to see how I feel about it. I'm going to put it aside, and I'm going to go in with this one and try the crazy top. The same thing here. You want to get any of those glitters. You may need to remove any of the oil. And I do not want to risk getting oil in my crazy top brush. So I am going to decant this out And this is something you want to have your flash cure ready for. All right, let's hope for the best. We're going to go in with a nice blob of our crazy top and hope for the best. I'm going to go in with a quick swipe action. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. Okay, quick. And flash cure. Let's see what I did. Oh my goodness, I don't know if it sank inside or what. Okay, so you can see a little bit of it sank in, but not so much, not so bad. No worse than that angel foil going in. I feel like there's probably oil on my brush because it's acting weird, but that's okay. We'll just roll with it for now. I'm going to flash cure this part again. The new little layer, and then I'll stick it in for a full cure. All right, and here it is out of the lamp after a full cure. Let's see what we got moving here. Okay, so I don't feel like there's too much stuff in it, but it's not getting a whole lot of movement. I'm wondering if maybe because I don't have an air bubble inside. You can see there's no air bubble, it's sealed right up. So that air bubble may be really helpful to help shift things and make it move around. It still looks cool, and the jellyfish looks really cool inside there. So I'll keep going. In the next one, I'm going to try and make sure that air bubble's inside. Maybe that'll help it move better. And I do realize that the jellyfish is really big, so it might be blocking stuff from shifting very well, right? It's hard to get around it. You can see those pearls are kind of stuck in it. So that might be all it is that the jellyfish has taken up the whole wall space, so nothing's really getting around it very well. Still looks super cool though. Okay. So then this one, I took that molding gel stuff off, decided I did not like it. That's why I set it aside so I can kind of look at it for a bit and see how I felt about it. And it wasn't doing it for me. So I'm gonna get rid of that. So we'll try and leave a little bit of air in the top of this one. See if that air bubble helps it move around a bit better. I might need to get those pearls under the jellyfish or they won't go through. All right, same thing here. We're gonna go in with the crazy top. It's like a spray and pray. Let's see what we can do. Make sure I have my flash cure ready. This time I'm gonna try and be a little more methodical. I'm gonna go around the edges, get like a kind of base there first. All right, and then I'm gonna go in with the swipe across. Okay, and cure. That might have actually done the trick. Really nice. Another flash cure. Okay, I'm gonna do a full cure on this and see what we got. All right, so here's this one out of the light, fully cured. Yeah, that bubble does make things shift easier, although my jellyfish is kind of making it get in the way. But that's one mystery solved. And this top worked really nice, like really nice. So that is the answer to that. Do a nice little rim around the edge and then quickly fill it in. Pretty much the same thing that we did on the bottom. I don't know why. I was just nervous of it falling into the oil, I guess, so I didn't think it would work as easily, but it worked well. I don't think I put too many goodies inside here. I could have maybe even gone with a few more, but I think it was okay because I didn't want to distract it all from the jellyfish. And I think I did a good job with that. Except now this bubble is keeping our jellyfish up. There we go. Get those bubbles out. Still, I just love the way those jellyfish look so glassy in there. And once everything's top coated, oof, it's going to look divine. Okay, that's 2 down. We got 2 more to go. A thumb and a pinky. I'll do the same as before. And I'll do them together. Now the pinky is only going to have art on the front. I don't have anything special going in it. And I'm going to be sticking a mermaid on the front of it. So I'm going to give my tanks a wipe out with alcohol. Try and make sure there's nothing in them. Okay. Now for my thumb, I'd had the idea of using a whale inside that I meant to put on the background before making the tank, but of course I boo-booed and I did not do it. Now the whale I have has this laser look. I don't know how that's going to do for it, but I think I'm going to try it anyway. What's the worst that can happen is that it doesn't look good. You usually don't look at the thumb anyway. Let's just go with it and see what happens. In we go, Mr. Whale. Hopefully we can make it in there. He looks a little awkward. He looks like he's dying because he's swimming upside down. Looks like we've got a floater. It's not working for me that way, so we're kind of limited in the way we can put him in here. So I got my whale in there kind of in a way that's all right, but look at this tail is too long, so I'm attempting to get into the corner there and cut some of this tail off without wrecking everything. I don't know if that's gonna work. I always got to try and do everything the hard way, you know. What's the point if it's not the hard way? It's just to show you guys where there's a will, there's a way. All right, what do you know? Cut that tip of a tail off. Now let's see. There we go. That's looking a little better. My little spoon guy here fits in here really well to rub that all down. There's no sharp edges, so it's not gonna scratch either the sticker or the inside of the tank. All right. Okay, and of course now that I put my sticker in there, I'm gonna go in with my primer to help it stay stuck to the next layer. Kind of sneak in there. And then I'm gonna go in with my top coat, a very thin one, just to give it a little cover. Okay, and then cure. Okay, while that's curing, we're gonna test out the tank on our little pinky finger here. Make sure we got no leaks. And then the same goes for our thumb. Try out our tank. We'll leave them for a couple minutes, see how they do, and start picking through our goodies for them. For the thumb, I want to go with one of these crystals. Might be too big, but I'm going to give it a try. Both of these are going to get a gold charm of some kind. Now that the bigger pieces are, I think everything I want is in there. And I'm doing my best to try and get mostly just the smaller hexes, not the great big ones and not the dust, because they don't do as well in there. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see this one. Yeah, we are good to go. Let's cap these babies. We're going to top off our oil. Remember, we do want that little space so we have an air bubble because it will shift around a little better, so it seems. We go around and just trace a nice even line around the top, being cautious that nothing falls into the tank. We've filled them up and we've left an air pocket because everything moves around best when there's an air pocket. And we've got our flash cure ready here. And we're just going to grab from the edge and move across as quickly as we can. We want it on the tip there. All right, and here we go. Just trying to keep that bubble. It's harder now because the space is much bigger for the thumb. Hopefully it's gonna work. Hopefully. Shoot, it sucked it right in there. I don't want that. That's what I was afraid of. Was it getting sucked into the oil? So I'm gonna go on a risky mission here. I'm gonna get a ratty brush and I'm gonna go in there and hopefully get that out. I am gonna give it another attempt, but this might be too runny for such a big space. That's what my guess is. Okay, there's our little cap. And here we go with our next attempt. I'm gonna try and go really fast and see if it actually makes it. Fast. And move it over and cure. I might have pulled it off, I don't know. Maybe. I hope so. Okay, so we're gonna go in and finish filling the top. And although builder gel would have been much simpler because I could have gotten one that was thicker, it wouldn't have had that no inhibition layer on the inside. So using this top coat, the hope is that it won't be sticky inside and that it won't cause things to stick to the top, or in the case of using it in the bottom. Okay, so it's been flashed and I'm going to pop it in the lamp. While that one's in the lamp curing, let me get to this one, which should be a lot easier because it's got a much smaller space to cross. So going around on our edge, carefully having our flash cure ready at the ready. Big bead, and it might not be quite enough here, we'll see. And it fell into. That one I'm going to blame on not having a big enough bead on the end of my brush. I was trying to be thrifty there. Not a great idea. Not at this stage of the game, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm going to do our edging. And then picking up our nice big bead. Flash cure's ready. Okay, we're going to go swiping fast. And start cure. Flash cure. That might have actually pulled it off. Another one over top to be sure. Flash cure. And stick it in the lamp. Now, how did our whale do? This air bubble's a lot bigger than I'd like, but not much I can do about that. It's got good movement. You can see there's a whale in there. Yeah, looks pretty good. All right. And our pinky. How did our pinky do? I love those glass beads in there. They look like little bubbles. Very nice. Okay. Looks like everybody's sealed nice. No issues. And there we go. Now we just need to paint. Oh, wait until those beauties are finished and top coated. Oh, okay. That's been 3 hours. That's about all I can handle. To start, I'm going to go in with my tip prep to chemically etch the surface of the nails so that everything sticks nice. Then going in with my primer to make the surface sticky. So the polishes I'm using are from the Most Stiff collection, from the Midnight Waikiki. I've got a little bit of a jelly color from Ugly Duckling, number 119, as well as Bandi, really nice magnet gel. This is Sky Aurora, number 437M. I'll also be going in with some white art gel. This is just for kind of a cover color. I don't want it to be too thick. I'm just going to refer to my drawing on how I wanted my waves to go. So I went just high enough to cover that tank bottom and to create my wave design. And the idea is to go, for me, is to go the opposite direction for each wave. And on this one, guys, I'm challenging myself to go fast, to try and not nitpick too much and just kind of get the paint on there. And of course I say this as I start nitpicking, but really I just want to tap out this gradient a little. Remember, this is just the bottom color layer, so we'll be going over it with all kinds of stuff. That looks better. Do the same thing on this one. Just tap it out a bit. So this one I'm going high on this side. All right, let's get those in the lamp. So for my whale, I'm going in with another seaweed sticker to give it some dimension. Just gonna clear this a little bit with some alcohol. Where I'm putting my sticker down. Okay, I think I've changed my mind and I want something shorter. So I'm gonna get this one off of here and swap it out for a different one. I'm liking this little one, he's a lot shorter, but not sure if I like how wide it is. So I might trim half of it off. Yeah, I feel like it's spreading too wide. So I'm just gonna go in here. There. And now that fits better. So I want it in front of the whale to create depth, but not covering the whale too much to lose the effect. Unfortunately, my thumbs, the nail bed on my thumbs is really high, unlike the rest of my fingers. So this one doesn't have nearly as much tank space as the rest do. Stop fussing and go with that. And then of course we go in with a little sticky primer over it. And I'll be putting a mermaid tail on this one, just not sure at which point. I think I'll go in with my blue jelly first and some base coat in case I need to thin it out a bit. And going in with my angled brush, just doing some base coat on my ombre brush here. And the base coat is just helping to bleed that color out a little bit. I'm just kind of experimenting with different ways to make the water flow. Yeah, it'll be covered up with the cat eye, so not that noticeable, but it's helping me to kind of get a flow for the waves. Okay. By using the base coat here, it's doing almost like a blooming gel effect. Just very, very mild, because I just want that color to spread a little. And right now I'm just trying to take away a little bit of that under color on the bottom so that we see a variety of shades, darker to lighter. And this last one, I'm just curious. I'm going to go in with base first, like very thin with my ombre brush here. And then I'm just going to pick up my color. Yeah, and that actually looks like it'll work a lot quicker. That's a good note to have for next time. That looks perfect. I'm going to have my mermaid popping right out of here in this kind of wave. Perfect. In the light. That was way faster. Well, maybe because it was a pinky nail too, but way faster. So I'm going in with this gorgeous cat eye now. This is probably my favorite out of all these Bandi magnet gels that I picked up. This one is just, oh, I have a thing for blues to start, but this just did it for me. I'm going to try not to have too many lumps on the sides like my other one did, but it's a little tough because I want my cat eye gel to be a little thicker. I don't know how, but it looks like I missed the upper side of this tank covering it. I don't know. Just looks like there should be something else there to cover this. So, okay, let's try this again. Okay, I'm going to cure that. So now I just go in doing this with each of the nails, wave by wave, line by line, and putting in that cat eye. Here you can see I'm just trying to kind of put a little bit of gradation there so it doesn't stop abruptly, and then just trying to smooth out my edges a bit so that I don't have massive lumping across the whole nail from the thickened magnetic polish, because I am going really heavy with it just to get a really good effect. And you'll see that it does kind of lump up the edges of the nail a bit, but that's okay. We're going to go in and encapsulate it anyway, just to try and smooth some of that edging out. That's a cool effect. Now for the pinky here, I'm going in with my mermaid sticker. Yeah, I guess that's pretty good placement. All right, so go in with the magnet for this one. And I want to cover up a little bit of the base of that mermaid. We'll also be going in with the white art gel for the waves over it too, to make that splashing effect. I don't know if this magnet knows something I don't or what, but it's not cooperating the way I want. Not at all. I don't know what's going on. Does anybody get this? So it's like I can only have the magnet on one side. I'm wondering if it's because the nail is so small and skinny and the magnet can only go so far. I don't know. It's like if I get it on one side, then I can't have it on the other, which is odd because there was no issue with all the rest of them. Maybe if I go that way. Nope, it's not doing what I want. No matter what, I cannot seem to get both sides. So I guess it is what it is. I'm going to assume that the curve of the nail is too much because it's a small nail. Okay, I added way more polish and finally got it to work. All right, second cat eye layer. It does look a little cheesy at this point, but you'll notice with the finished product what a difference those 3 separate layers really makes as far as depth and movement for the nail. It's really quite incredible. All right, put away our magnet gel. Now time for our white art gel. I'm just going to grab a little bit of alcohol. So I've got my white art gel, my alcohol, and my frazzle dazzle brush here. It's just kind of a mess. That's good though, we want that. And now I'm doing like the white cap parts of the waves. And I just use the alcohol, tiny bit off of it. And it spreads and dilutes that art ink, art gel, and gives it a fuzzy kind of look, mimicking waves. There's a neat kind of technique you can do too, using like cuticle oil with it. That gives it more of a 3D splashy, a bit more realistic effect. I'm just not, it's just messy and a pain, and I'm not feeling it today. And this is the kind of technique where you just continue playing with it until it's giving you the vibe that you want. I think this is the sort of thing that I find like really relaxing, and I end up playing with it forever because I just get so in the zone. I kind of forget to finish. Okay, because I don't want the fogginess of the art ink everywhere, because it'll cover up some of that awesome cat eye. I just want to go in and use my alcohol to clear out some of the spots. Just make sure your brush doesn't have too much alcohol on it so it doesn't ruin all the work you did. Just a drop and dab it off. So what I'm doing here is trying to create that splashing effect of the mermaid going into the water. And here I just add in some elevated water droplets to give it that feeling of a real splash where the mermaid's entering the water. So just some highlighted water droplets there. All right, so my waves are all set. So now I'm just going to go in and do a little bit of encapsulation, just a bit to clear up some of that bumpiness from how thick I did the magnet gels. So I'm just going in with a clear builder gel here. You can use builder in a bottle, whatever you got. All right, encapsulation is done. So I am just going to wipe off the inhibition layer for all of them and file them up. Then we're top coating and we should be finished. So let's do that finish file. All right, guys, we're getting to the best part. Coming up to the big reveal. We've put in so much work. I lost some of my timing, but I think I'm coming up on somewhere between 8 and 10 hours. So it was a lot. I think it's all going to be worth it. So I'm going in right now. This is my thinnest top coat. It's my Magic Gel Tackless Hyper Shine. And first thing, I'm just going to do the backing because we do have a see-through back. So we want to make sure that that's nice and shiny. So we're going to go in on all the nails and do our backs. Keep that crystal shine through it all. And now that our backings are done, we're doing the best part. Don't forget your top and into the light. And you want to pay especially close attention to not having any bubbles or anything that's going to mess with the clarity, especially in this top tank section. So really take a good look at your top coat and make sure there's nothing in there, no fuzzies or hairs or bubbles or anything else that could mess with that clarity. The lower section is not as big of a deal because you're not going to notice it very easily over top of the pattern, but you might on the clear section. Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you do to get the stuff out of your top coat? Like if on your nail you see a fluff or just a bump, which could be a dust bunny or an air bubble or whatever it happens to be. But do you just try and swipe it away with your brush? Do you go in with tweezers? Because I've tried it all. And I have a feeling my go-to method is usually just to like kind of brush it out in a way like that. But I'm realizing, or I do realize that by doing that, it's still sitting in the bristles of the brush. Say if it's a dust or whatever. It's still sitting in the bristles of the brush, which means that every time I'm wiping more of it and more of it and more of it into every nail. And with each nail, it gets worse. Like I can see tons and tons of little defects on there. Do you see all that? You see all that in the line of light? That makes me crazy. And this is my top coat that I do not use for glitter or chrome or anything like that. This is just my very clear, supposed to be perfectly clean top coat. But I got all this little stuff in it. And it happens right away, even, you know, with a new bottle. So I get really frustrated from trying to clean off my nails to get rid of all that. I've gone in and tried to swipe it away with the tweezers or what have you, but it just doesn't really seem to do it. It's almost like, for me, the only way to do it is with the brush. But then I think I'm just keeping the stuff in there and creating more of a headache for the next time or the next nail. Hopefully you guys have some tips and tricks for me because it's one of my most infuriating issues, gotta say. Because you're so close to being finished, you're like, yay, I'm just got a top coat. And then your top coat takes a ridiculously long amount of time because you're trying to get all that little dots out of there, all that little imperfection. So what do you think, guys? Was it worth the 10 hours? Those jellyfish look like super ethereal. They're just phenomenal in there. I love that. They don't move around as freely as I'd like, but they're still wicked cool inside there. I gotta say, I am thrilled with how they turned out, but most importantly is the fact that I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how some of my products work and what works best for doing certain things. It's just doing a challenge like this, something that you wouldn't usually expect to do and something that takes you out of your comfort zone. It really teaches you a lot and really helps build your confidence in knowing that you can kind of pull off anything if you set your mind to it. Of course, as always, I will leave a list of products below in the description with links for whatever I have. Some of them may be affiliate links that will help support my channel, but most of them usually aren't. And of course, it does not mean that you need to be using the products that I did to pull this off. These are just what I have that I found worked the best for me. You might have stuff that works even better, or stuff that will just suffice that you can do it with. As always, guys, thanks again for being here, for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed this one. It was a ton of work and I feel like it was so worth it. I really enjoyed this. I've always wanted to do something like this and it was super exciting for me. So as always, until next time, guys, just don't forget to love your nails. Bye.